Alright gang, welcome back to our vintage survival, and it is now April, and as you can clearly tell here, we are getting ready to do a fertilizing contract. It is quite a large fertilizing contract. Are we going to have enough to get it done? I'm not sure. But what we will be doing today, more than likely, is purchasing a solid fertilizer spreader. Okay, alright, go ahead. Go ahead, Walter. Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. So what we will be doing is purchasing, excuse me, a solid fertilizer spreader. With the money that we have here, hopefully we'll be able to do everything we're talking about, and hopefully we will have enough to not have to actually go and really buy it today to finish the contract. But I guess we'll figure that out as we move along. First things first, though, we want to go ahead and get the second application of fertilizer put down on the field that we drilled in the last episode. It's this awkwardly shaped L field. Well, I guess it depends on which way you're looking at it. We do have a decent amount of fertilizer in here. I'm just not positive if it's going to be enough. What we can do in the interim is if the other field we end up running out. Okay. Maybe I need to actually select the correct thing here, and maybe we'd go that way. There we go. What we can do in the interim, right, is just buy another pallet of liquid fertilizer. Liquid fertilizer is a little bit more expensive, right? But we can do that, if need be, to finish that contract. Now, that contract, it's a big one. It's a real big one. It's going to produce almost $5 grand for us, which is really, really needed. That'll be really, really good for the farm. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. Things are good here. Work's still been absolutely brutal. I think I mentioned that in the last episode, or maybe even the episode before that. I don't remember, but work is, well, work is being work, I guess. It's been rough. It's been a rough go for me for a little while, but we're getting through it day by day, right? I don't know if anybody ever has this issue besides me, but when work is extremely stressful, and I care about my work, I really do. I have a hard time sleeping at night, and I've been running into that issue a little bit where I've not been sleeping very well. So a little tired lately, but it's nice to get back into the Farming Simulator game a little bit. It's relaxing. It makes me stop thinking about it, even though I've mentioned it, I guess, twice in a row. But I stopped thinking about it a bit. Maybe calm down the stress a little bit. So the field we're going to be doing is coming up here on the left, and as you can see, it is a massive, massive field. There is a high probability that we are going to run out, actually, now that I'm seeing how big this field truly is, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? Alright, and we should be. Yep, we're underway. Perfect. Now, I probably wouldn't really normally want to utilize this for a contract, right? The liquid fertilizer here. But if we can accomplish this contract without having to spend a whole lot of money on the solid fertilizer yet, I think that would be better off for us. Gives us a little bit of money right now that we can try to, do some things with. Where we maybe can technically hold off, I guess, on buying that solid fertilizer spreader if we're able to accomplish this. These are some big fields over here, man. We're kind of, those smaller fields are kind of near the town or the main road, or whatever you want to call that, which it makes sense, right? Those were probably bigger fields at one point, and then they got chopped up into pieces because of the road going through, or the city, or the town, or whatever, a village, whatever, right? There's a big operation over there. Really big operation. All right, bear with me for a minute here. It's kind of hard to see sometimes, so I'm just going to try to see where I've been here. I'm just going to kind of do a headland pass, if you will. Now, if you just happen to stumble across this series specifically, we've got a couple of rules. One is I'm not allowed to use GPS of any sort because this is a vintage survival series, right? And while there may have been some very basic GPS in the late 90s, there really wasn't a whole lot. So we're going on the basis of there's no GPS, and if you look in here, there's clearly no GPS in this tractor, right? So, we're going off that basis, right? So I might have to do it the old-fashioned way, like FS22 and prior, for any of us on console. I know some of you in FS22 had course play, right? So that was a little bit easier, but I've never had that luxury until now, so I'm just going back to the roots, if you will. And doing it the old-school way. Need to realign here. That was a terrible backup there, Z. Come on, buddy, get together. So anyway, it's not really a challenge or anything like that in case you stumbled across this, but it's more of a, we're just only allowed to utilize old vintage stuff from 1999 or older. Now, some things are obviously going to be a little bit of a gray area, unfortunately, that we're just not going to know when they were created. But I think you have a pretty good idea of the way that things look, if it's, older than, 2000 or not, right? I think it's pretty easy to figure that out. So that's kind of where the bases we're going off of. And a lot of the things I'm able to look up and see, like when they were created, like this sprayer and our Volvo specifically, right? A lot of things we can look up. Early on, I bought a chainsaw, not really thinking that maybe the chainsaw should also be an older chainsaw. Was lucky enough that there was one out on ModHub, so I was able to find a older chainsaw from the 80s. It basically looks exactly the same as the chainsaw now. It just, slightly different, but it's pretty much the same exact thing. I think there's a high probability we're going to get this field done without having to buy more. It's looking good. We're 40% done. We've got 24% left in the tank here. Gonna have to do a bit of a weird angle here because I can't really see where I've been. I kind of can, to an extent, but maybe that's the angle I should be doing it at. It is kind of up in the air. Normally I do an angle like this. It's really hard to see down here. You really can't see nothing, but if you're up in the air a little bit more like this, it is a lot easier to figure out where you've been and where you haven't been. Now, we need to continue to try to buy some more land here. Some of the goals that we have to try to accomplish, right? We want a bunch of land. I don't know if my friend Northern Farms said something about 100 fields. I don't know. Did I say 100 fields early on? Maybe I did say 100 fields early on. I forget. I don't know. Maybe I did say that. I don't remember saying that, but maybe I did. Anyway, we're going to get a lot of fields one way or another. That's part of the goal. And I want to have somewhere between $250,000 and $500,000 in the bank. And I want to have a lot of equipment. Now, the equipment is the difficult part right now. It's not really when you think about it, but in a farming simulator game it is. It's still kind of early on, right? And meaning that there's not a whole lot of stuff on ModHub for the vintage stuff. It is getting better every week, I think. I think there's a roller that just recently was released that can be utilized now, which is good. But, there's limited things we can do because it has to be from 1999 or older. So I want to have a lot of equipment, very much so to the point where what we're going to accomplish here, I need to have one of everything. So we already have the sprayer, right? Because we kind of started with that, so that's good. But we need the fertilizer spreader, the solid fertilizer spreader, I should say, and lime, but we're not doing lime in this series, but lime in general normally. So we got that, right? We have to get. We need a couple of things, actually. We need the roller. Ideally, we need at least another tractor. I want another trailer that's bigger. We need to find a few things for some animals, right? We need to get some, baler, an old baler and, wrappers and etc., things like that. We probably need all of that. There's lots of things that we have to figure out ways to purchase, and really, we're kind of at the expense of ModHub, right? If there's nothing out there for us, then we're just going to have to wait it out until something does come out. Reason I wanted to do this challenge so much is because I've always wanted to do it. I wanted to do it in FS22, which is really when I started recording videos. I've been doing Farming Simulator games for a long, long time, but never recording videos on them. But we kind of ran out of time, right? FS25 just got here a lot faster than I think I anticipated. A lot of people were saying it was going to come out in the end of 2024, and I was one of the people for whatever stupid reason that said, no, it's not going to come out. It's going to come out in 2025, not 2024. And I was wrong. So I just ran out of time, more than less, and always wanted to do it. And I just thought, now that there are some things that are vintage, it would make it a little bit more of a difficult playthrough. Since there's not everything out there, I can't just go out there and buy everything right now. And I really like this map, and I thought it was a perfect map for it, right? There's definitely bigger fields like the one we're doing now, but there are a lot of smaller fields, which are the ones that we currently own, and they're inexpensive. So it just makes a whole lot of sense for what we're trying to accomplish here, right? We don't have a whole lot of funds, a whole lot of money to play with. So having some fields that are smaller and a little bit cheaper is only going to help benefit the series and make it, hopefully, continue to make it enjoyable to watch, right? All right. We are running out of fertilizer here. I'm hoping we will get it accomplished. 91%. It's going to be close. A lot closer than I actually anticipated it was going to be. Now, when we're done with this, what are we going to do? I don't quite know yet. There's not a whole lot out there as far as the contracts go for us to continue doing anything. We're going to have to take a look and see if anything else popped up. If not, we're going to have to see if we can find anything on ModHub for maybe some of the other contracts that are out there. We did do a little bit of a looking at that, I guess, in the last episode to an extent. Didn't really find a whole lot, but some new stuff I know came out today. I don't know for sure if anything came out for us that we can utilize besides the roller that I talked about. We're almost done here. Okay, I'm gonna have to do one of these real quick, so bear with me. I've been having to do it most of the time here, but like I said, we're limited. So there's a little section there that I missed. I think there's a bigger one here. Yeah, here you go. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Because it's going to give you a little bit of a, leeway, right? So we just want to find the area that has a big section like this where we're getting the most for our money here, and we're not just wasting liquid fertilizer on an area that is not really going to produce us another percent. Okay, we're done. We have 7% left, 196 liters, which isn't a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably enough for us to do one more field, honestly. On our side. So let's head back to the farm here, and then we'll take a look and see if there's any other contracts out there for us. As a matter of fact, let's just do a quick autosave here. I'm just going to collect the money for it right now. That'll give us a little better idea of what we've got to spend. It should be around 10 grand. Yep, 4,309 we're going to get out of that. So we're at $9,636. Anything out there for us? Not really. Bale wrap, it's the same stuff. Bale wrapping, hoeing, deadwood, weeding, and wood transport. All of those are going to be difficult for us to be able to do with the restrictions of the 1999 or older. There's not a whole lot on ModHub for all that stuff, which is unfortunate. What's going to end up happening in this series, I think, is we're going to run into a lot of situations like this where, at least for a while, we're going to have little to do for a couple of episodes because we just don't have the equipment for it. It's just not out there. But the nice thing about this series is we can jump from month to month. It's not like I normally would do. Normally in every series that I do, it's a lot of the times it's a challenge type of series, and whenever I do a challenge series, I put a rule in, which I'll be the first to admit every once in a blue moon I might break it once in a blue moon, but it's just a rule for myself. That if I'm doing a challenge, I'm not allowed to jump from April to May or whatever. It seems a little cheaty when you're trying to challenge yourself to do something if you could just skip 2 or 3 months to get where you want to be, right? So you could actually harvest something or whatever and make money. It just seems a little bit cheaty to me. So unless it's absolutely crucial or necessary or dire, I normally don't allow myself to do that. And when I say crucial, dire, what I mean more specifically about that is I don't have anything else that could potentially be done, and it's not something where if I don't do it, I'm gonna not have enough money to do something I want to do. It's not that kind of a situation, if that makes sense. Whoops, I always do that the wrong way. I always unhook the sprayer that attaches to the tank. And I just want to unhook the tank and keep the sprayer attached to the tank. There we go. Okay, so we've got $9,636. What is in the used market? Now that would be awesome to have. However, I'm not really sure what we would utilize it for. I guess we could utilize it for... some wood transporting, right? There's that contract, if I can get to the right thing. Wouldn't probably be... Actually, it'd probably be very difficult, because those logs would probably be really wide. It'd probably be very difficult for us to move it with that. There's no hoe, unfortunately, in Mod Hub that's older. That's not even worth doing. $278. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's see if we can find anything in the used market here. Or the used market. In the market here. In the shop here. And let's see what we can get into. All right, we're back. We're going to head up to the shop. I already purchased a couple pieces of equipment. As you can see in the right-hand corner, our dollar amount has drastically changed. I went ahead and purchased a fertilizer spreader, solid fertilizer spreader for that matter, and I bought a pallet of solid fertilizer as well. So that was very expensive, but that's okay. There are 2 other contracts that have popped up on the shop, or, well, I guess I don't even know the shop, whatever you want to call it. Just the contract area, I guess. We're going to do both of them. Now, it's not going to be enough to pay for what we just purchased, but it is something, right? So it'll get us closer to that mark. We're going to do them both. And kind of hope that another one comes out eventually, but I don't know if it will. But we're kind of hopeful that another one pops out. Nonetheless, we're going to head on up here and pick that up. So that will give us a little bit of the money back that we spent. But it's going to be better for us overall because this is a better machine for us to have. The sprayer we're not going to be getting rid of. We're going to need that for the herbicide spraying. Because at current, there is no, like I said, hoe or weeder of any sort that we can utilize to get rid of weeds. So that is what we're going to have to be utilizing for the time being. Till something, I guess, comes out on Mod Hub, and then maybe potentially we could get rid of it at that point. But now this has a lot of options for us to be able to upgrade this. This fertilizer spreader came out in the mid-90s. It's a Vicon. It came out in the mid-90s, the 1004. Now this thing, right now it has 1,000 liters of fertilizer it can hold. It does have ability to upgrade it to, I think it's 1,600 or something like that, maybe 1,400, something like that. Also has some other options you can add to it. You can add some wheels to it, so when it's sitting on the ground, it's not, you know, just laying in an awkward spot. Also have a cover for the sprayer as well, or the spreader, excuse me. Now, where are we going? Where are we going for these contracts here? Looks like we're going down to the left here. We've gone down here once, but we really haven't spent a whole lot of time down here in this area, so this is going to be nice to check this out a little bit more. I'll leave the map on for the time being because I'm going to need it since I don't really know where I'm going here. Now there was another fertilizer spreader I think I showed. I don't know if it was in the last episode or if it was I was going to say a similar episode, but that's not really the word I'm looking for. It's something that we showed at some point in the recent episode. That one, for whatever reason, was not working. I'm not really sure why. Ooh, there's something going on up there. I wonder what they're working on. Huh. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what was happening, but it would not accept any kind of fertilizer at all. So we moved on from that one. We went with this one. This one was slightly more expensive, but only just. The one I was going to buy from the other one was 3,000. This was 3,000, I think, 400. But it holds 400 liters more. This one does as well. So, and this one I know for 100% fact is from 1995 because it actually says it in the mod. Whereas the other one was a Lizard. It looked older than this, a lot older than this. And I kind of found one that I think it was based off of online, but there's no guarantee that that was the exact one or not, if that makes any sense, right? Like I said, there's a little bit of a gray area here from time to time on some things, but you know, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. There is another fertilizing contract that popped out. It's right by us. We might as well go ahead and pick that up too. It's not, I mean, it's not going to make us a ton of money, but we might as well pick it up. It's here. All right, we've got all 3 now, so we are on the right field. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to turn the beacons off. We're going to zoom out a little bit. I don't really know how far the spread is going to be on this. Looks to be relatively large, honestly. And it's, you know, there you go. You got the old school wiggle spray, I guess is what I used to call them, the wiggle sprayer. It's a unique way that it sprays fertilizer, or spreads fertilizer, I guess, in this instance. Not really spraying it, it's spreading it. This is going to be another situation where it's going to be kind of hard for me to see where we've been, but I'm going to do everything I can here to try to keep us on the straight line and not wasting any fertilizer if at all possible. We don't want to waste any. That's going to be the most difficult part, I think, of this is, you know, us not being allowed to utilize GPS. We've got to kind of have to go at it from different angles to make sure that we're not wasting fertilizer as much as possible here. We want to get the most bang for our buck. I believe this is the big field. This is the one that's going to pay us the most of all of them. Kind of going slightly untraditional the way that I'm going down here, but I think it's going to work all the same. I'm just going up and down instead of going around a headland and then the middle and etc. We're just turning around in a grass field. It's not, you know, the field for the contract or anybody that we know's field, but it shouldn't really harm anything. It's grass. Now, clearly I've missed some pieces here. I don't know where they are, but I've clearly missed stuff because we're only 80-something% through here. That's going to be the unfortunate, you know, situation we're going to be dealing with here. Is I don't really know. I'm going to look at the map here and see if it'll help me. I don't know if it will. There we go. Yeah, you can't even see it from this angle. Some of the crops make it really difficult to see where you've been, too. I guess it's over here. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. It's just really, really hard to see sometimes. But then I feel like that's, you know, we're going to get the whole field, basically, here. If we're at 96%. It's taking up a decent amount of fertilizer, this one here. All right, good. All right, that's done. So, let's see. Yep, that was the big one. So let's go ahead and accept that 1,477. That's good. That pretty much almost pays for the pallet of fertilizer. Almost. All right, and we've got 2 more. One is really close to us up here. The other one is down here. I think it's probably more beneficial to do this one first and then come back and do this one. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get into a bit of a time lapse here, gang. Let's get this thing going. Once we get down here and find this one, we'll throw a time lapse in, get this one done, get the next one done. Maybe we'll get lucky and maybe another one will pop out. I don't really like doing the same contracts over and over again, but right now we need the money, right? There's another one. That's a big one, too. Oh, it's a big one. Oh, we got to do that, too. I don't know if we're going to have enough to do it, but we've got to do that one, too. That's a huge contract. That's big money. That pretty much will pay for everything that we needed here. That is huge. Where's that one at? Oh, that one's really far away. Huh. Well, that's okay. I still think it's worth it. It's nearly $5,000 to do that one. So I still think that's worth it. Was I supposed to turn there? No, up here. That's the reason why I said we'll wait until I get this one done, because I knew this one was kind of weird. It's a weird location. It's hard to get to. Or it can be hard to get to. Great demand at the Hendricks SP Zoo. Interesting. I like this little entryway here. This is cool. I like this. I like this a lot. I'd like to move our whole yard down here eventually, maybe at some point. This is cool. Might get a little annoying having to drive so far back here, but I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay, so here's the field we're going to be doing. All right. So, let's get to it here, gang, and let's get these fields done. Okay, we are nearly done here. I'm hoping we will get the notification that we completed here. I was trying to do the best I could to keep it close to the line. I might have wasted a little bit of fertilizer, but again, we don't have GPS, right? So we just kind of have to eyeball it as best we can, and I didn't want to, in a time-lapse, continue to move the camera all over the place, if that makes sense. So we were able to do so. I did go ahead and buy another pallet of fertilizer, as you saw. We clearly needed it. We only have 15% left in the hopper right now, so glad I did that. Otherwise, we would have been making another trip all the way back to the store. But yeah, those are all done, so we can go ahead and turn all of those in. So let's go ahead and do that and get ourselves a little bit of money here. Gets us back up to 9856, almost pretty much where we where we kind of started with, right? We're almost back to where we started. Well, not really, but before we bought all of the fertilizer spreader, right? We're kind of back to where we were, right? So it's good. That's good. That means we got a fertilizer spreader and some fertilizer, and everything's good to go. Is there anything else out here? Nope, there's nothing else out here. Didn't think there would be. We did a lot of fertilizing contracts today. Normally, I don't like doing the same contract over and over again, but right now, we're limited with the amount of equipment we have and what we can do. So we had to do it to get some money back into the account here. We're close to being able to put down that silo. I think that's the next thing we need to get, honestly, because here soon, in a couple months, our fields are going to be ready to harvest, and really, I want to store all of that crop and sell it when it's the best time, because we want to continue to expand and buy more fields, more equipment, etc. And to do so, we're going to need the money. So if we're able to save our crops until it's the best time to sell them, I think that's a win-win for us. So I should have the beacons back on. But with that, gang, I'm going to get this back to the farm, and we're going to leave the episode at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I appreciate it if you smash the like and the subscribe button for me in case you haven't done so already. Discord's down below. If you want to become a member, get early access to videos like this one, it's all down below. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for your continued support. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.